Hello students, welcome to the online class for automobile component design. This subject is present in your 5th semester diploma syllabus. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Tanmoy Kundu, Assistant Professor, Department of Automobile Engineering, Dr. Sudhir Chandra Sood Degree Engineering College. So here you find these are all about our course objectives. So why should we learn our this particular subject? So this is the course objective, and here you see that at the end of this particular subject, these are the key outcomes. So these are all about the outcomes that we get after completion of this course. Okay, so we have the following course outcomes, like analyze part, some identifying part, some use of design data book to standardize components. So we have several course objectives as well as the course outcomes. Now let us commence our today's lecture. So today is the most formal lecture, so that is the today's class is considered to be the first class for this particular subject. So as per the syllabus provided by the West Bengal State Council, so we will go through all those particular contents as per the syllabus. Today we will mostly design on the introduction part of the machine design. So first of all, we have to know what is design. The word design can either be a noun or a verb. Okay, as a noun, the design can be referred to an object's aesthetic appearance as well as its function. That means how does the function look like, how does the object look like. So this aesthetic appearance or the aesthetic beauty refers the term design. Okay, for example, a beautifully designed dress refers to its appeal to our visual perception, and a nicely designed car engine that gives very good mileage and performance refers to the concept of function. As a verb, now these are all about the concept comes from if you take the design as a noun. Now if you take design as a verb, so in that case design is the act of formalizing an idea on concept into concrete information. It includes the process of conception, invention, visualization, calculation, refinement and specification of details that determine the forms of the product. So if we consider the design as a verb, so this particular design consists of these following parameters. First one is the conception, then invention, then visualization like calculations, then refinement and specification of all those particular details that determine the form of the product. So every product has certain characteristics, so all those characteristics will constitute the term design in detail. Now design may be defined as an iterative decision making process to formulate a plan by which the resources are optimally converted into the system, okay, process or devices in order to solve a specific problem or to fulfill a specific need. So that is the most important thing. Why should you design? Because we have the certain necessity of one object, we have the necessity to get some desired output, and based on those necessities we design the part, then as per the design we manufacture the parts. Okay, now it begins with a need, so that is why what I am saying, that we have the necessity, that means we have the need. When we have the need, only then we are compelled to design something. Like it begins a word with a need, a problem or any idea or a concept, and that ends with the concrete information in the form of drawings. That means whenever you have some need, some problem, some idea, only then all those particular conceptions will be created as a information basis. Now when this information is transformed into the drawing, so this is called the design. Now computer representation or any other form, so drawing can be generated either freehand or using the computer representations. Like for the design part we have several softwares, like as you know that AutoCAD, CATIA, ProE, we have several softwares for design part. Now so design basically helps us to manufacture and to utilize a product. So with the help of design, we then manufacture that part, and at last then we utilize our need. So this is our need, this is our necessity. As per that, we have made a drawing, and that drawing has been developed suppose in the AutoCAD, and that AutoCAD drawing now will be useful to manufacturing work. And when the manufactured product comes out and it comes to the hand of the consumers, so ultimately it will be utilized by the consumers. So these are all our the basic categories of the design. Now design can be different type. Okay, any particular component can be designed, any system can be designed. So design means it is basically a broad concept. Now particularly we are thinking about the machine design. So our primary motto is to decide the several factors in the machine design. As an engineer, so our primary motto to focus our concept only on the machine design part. We are not here to design the several identities, but we are here to design only the machine and its components. So next comes to the word, that is the machine design. The subject machine design is the creation of new and better machines and improving the existing ones. That means you have to create a new machine, and whatever the machines you have right at this moment, you need to give some further advancements so that the machine can be modified. So here is obviously for designing the new machine and to get a modified version of the existing machine. So for both these two systems we need the word design, the word machine design. Okay. Next, a new or better machine is one which is more economical in the overall cost of the production and operation. Of course, whatever the existing design part we have, now if you take that existing part is very difficult to manufacture or existing part is very difficult to handle, so only that case the designer should think about the modification of the existing part, so that what will happen, the manufacture will be easy, and also the utilization and the operation methodology for this system will become more easy. Okay. Then at the third concept we see the process of design is a long and time consuming one. Now from the study of existing idea, a new idea has to be conceived. So that is what a very important thing, that design is not a very short term process. It takes a several time. We need to give more and more our concept, our idea, our mathematical formulations, our drawing capacity. So a lot of things are required while designing. So it is a very time consuming process, and we also understand very clearly what is our need, what is the need of a consumer. That part is very important to understand, that whatever the component we are designing, whether that design will fulfill the needs of the consumer, will that design be very much useful to get the different types of utilities, whether my design will be helpful to create a product that will be having a longer service life. So we have several questions before designing. Now all those questions when constitute a big different kinds of graphic system, and when it will create a broad sense, broad idea, so all those ideas will be compacting in a single word, that is called a design. So you can understand the designer has a versatile thinking, versatile capacities, and it must he or she must be capable enough to draw something new, or to formulate or to calculate the automated parts or any other components. So in that case a designer has several or versatile capacities. Only then he can be able to design a real component that is very much useful for a consumer, and his total procedure will become a successful one. Now that idea is then studied keeping in mind its commercial success. Of course you are designing because you want to earn something, you have got some idea from the necessities of the people, and when you are working for organization, and the organization is at the very end of this concept of this process, the organization will certainly, the factory will certainly sell those products to the consumer. So obviously he is thinking about the profit. He is also thinking about the commercial aspect. So commercial aspect is very important in the design part. Now as a designer you also have to think about the commercial issues. because you cannot select any design that will be very difficult to manufacture, very costly aspect for manufacturing or any other part. Okay, so cost phenomena, the cost economic capacity, the is very important obstacle, or you can say very important part while designing. Okay, so economical design, so this is the word economics is also a very important aspect in the design. Now is given in the shape and form in form of drawing. So commercial, better from the commercial aspect, a designer has to think the necessities also from the aspect of commerce, from the commercial aspects. Okay, now then he have to design the shape, and what will be the shape, what will be the form of the drawing. Okay, in designing the machine component, there is no rigid rule. The problem may be attempted in several ways. So as you know, a designer like Mr. X, he is working in a company as a designer. Mr. Y is also working in another company but as a designer. So also whatever the point of views of Mr. X and Mr. Y, so that will be completely different. Now Mr. X has certain idea about that component, Mr. Y has a certain idea about the component. So there, whatever the methods they will adopt for designing, that must be completely different. Like a company like Tata Motor is manufacturing a car, is preparing a car model as per his own idea. On the other hand, Maruti Suzuki also preparing some concept of the same type of car, same utility car, but their designing philosophy is different. So obviously that depends concept company to company and man to man, that varies. That whatever the design philosophy, whatever the design aspect to be followed, that depends only on an individual. So that aspect will be different, as different to the person to person. Okay, now however the general procedure to solve the design problem is discussed below. So every individual personality, every individual concept or any company will follow the same guideline of the design. Their philosophy may be different, but they will have to follow the same guideline like whatever other companies do. So that design guideline is very important. So this is the standard or the general procedure in machine design. This procedure has to be followed one by one. That means a company like X is the company who is following his own aspect of design. So of course he has to follow these design methodologies one by one as per this criteria. Also Mr. Y, who is also a designer in another company, now he has to follow the same criteria, same designing path or chain that is given in this manner. So this chain particularly start with the concept of need or aim. Need means necessity. This is the necessity. This is the need of a public. Okay. Now we see that it is very important now to have a vaccine for coronavirus. So obviously this is now very much need that we must have the vaccine of the coronavirus. So this is our need, necessity. This is our need. Once need is developed, once necessity is developed, only then one can put his effort to develop something new. So the first idea is the need or aim. Aim means objective. Why I am designing? I cannot design any other arbitrary part. It has no utility. It has no demand in the market. So why should I design? So of course there must be some utility, must be some demand, must be some objective or need in the market. Only then we'll put some effort to design. So first term is coming as the need or aim. Then synthesis. Synthesis means is a mechanism. Mechanism means whatever the mechanism, what is the procedure you are actually adopting. Okay, so that is called the synthesis. Okay, so synthesis. Next come analysis of the forces. So like if you are designing any automotive components, so then you have to consider what are the different forces, external force, internal force, whatever the different forces may be acting on this particular system. So we have to then go through the concept of the analysis and of the different forces. Okay, then come to the material selection, which is very important in the design part. When you see that we have already analyzed the different forces, then we have to think again that whether this particular material can be useful to withstand that amount of force, whether this material is useful to be very long, stay very for a longer period of time, when this such amount of load will be active constantly or will be active variably. Okay, so all those parts are coming under the concept of the material selection, whether this particular material is suitable for this particular part. Like you are manufacturing a you are designing a cylinder, automobile cylinder, okay, engine cylinder. Now whatever the material of the engine cylinder, so that material may not be same for the same material, like you say for the piston. So piston may be a different, may be made of the different material. So every particular material, in particular you can say any object has this some certain applications. Now depending upon the application, so and depending upon the amount of the stress generated, the material which you select is also a very important part, material selection. And of course, whatever the material you are selecting, you also have to keep one thing in mind, that the material should not be very costly. Like a material I am selecting that is cheap enough, but our primary objective fulfills. So why should I go for the costly materials when the same purpose and same applications I can fulfill with the cheap materials? So why should I go for the higher costly phenomena, so costly materials? Because what happens if you use the costly materials, ultimately the production cost will rise, the selling cost will rise, and of course the when the selling cost will rise, so public will not actually try to purchase those parts. We as a consumer always need our components at a very cheap rate, but it should be lucrative, it should be very much aesthetically beautiful, and of course its performance must be very good. So these are the aspects generally a consumer behave. So of course we have to understand the behavior of a component in the market. If a component, if a consumer wants a product with a high performance and high life cycle, but in a cheap price, so of course the manufacturer has to provide that product in a cheap price. So in that case, the material selection also plays a good role. Now material selection, the selection of the material in such a way that the material should not be very much costly, it should be economic one. Now as the material selection completes, then you have to go through the design of the elements. That is, design means size and the stress. Size means its overall dimensions, how it will be, what will be its size. Okay, if you have created the size very jumbo size, okay, so public will not try to follow that jumbo size. Now as you know that in the modern electronic industry, as day by day is going on, the size of the electronic chips, okay, the microprocessor sizes are now reducing very rapid rate. Okay, so people are now wanting for the very small size, you can say the microprocessors. Okay, so the electronic part size are gradually reducing. This is as per public demand. So depending upon that, our technology should be in such a way that the components should be not be a very jumbo size, very gigantic size. So this is very important, the size, shape, and of course its stresses. So whatever the stresses are there, if you can accommodate all those stresses in a simple, very you can say very small size, so obviously public will accept that. Okay, now with the application of the same amount of stress, now you have designed a product but it becomes very gigantic, so obviously people will not accept it. So that is also important part. Next come to the modification. Modification means, suppose you as a designer has developed one design, but when your design gets approved from the higher authority or from the client end, so obviously there will be some corrections. So as per that comments, you will have to incorporate those comments, and you have to modify your designs as per that. Okay, next come to the detailed drawing. Detailed drawing means, once again, when you have got all the design parts, like you have already designed all the individual components. So after designing those individual components, when you assemble those components to form the detailed drawing. Okay, like you are designing a cylinder, I mean any engine. Okay, you are designing any SI engine. So a engine has several components. So now you have designed the components, all individual components, at last at the very end after modification, when you are assemble those particular components to form the detailed engine drawing. Okay, so after assembly we will get the detailed drawing. Now once the detailed drawing is passed, it approved, got the approval, so it will be required for the further manufacturing or the production. So these are all our the several steps that you can follow, that any particular design should follow. Any particular design shall pass through this particular chain of parameters, chain of steps. You can say this is a chain of steps to be followed for any particular design to get the approval and also to go through the shop floor for manufacturing or production. So one by one, here it is written recognition of need. So that I have told you that first of all make a complete statement of the problem indicating the need, aim or the purpose, or you can say objective for which the machine is to be designed. Okay, this is the first step. Second step I have told you, that is synthesis of the mechanism. That means select the possible mechanism or group of mechanism which will give the desired motion. That means what is that? Like in any automotive industry, if you say that there is an assembly line, the assembly line, you see that one component, when one component is finished, so it will pass through the next machine. When the machining in the second machine is completed, so once again it will come to the third machine. So first machine, second machine, third machine, all these machinings are in an assembly line. So you have to select that assembly line, or you have to select that mechanism that about of this particular path, which path this particular design should follow. So my motto is becomes successful, or motto is absolutely fruitful to develop the final product. So synthesis means the mechanism, okay, the procedure, the step by step guidelines, you can say. Next, the third and step is, you see, this is the analysis of the force. Find the forces acting on each member of the machine and the energy transmitted by each member. That means what happened? You are designing a shaft. Okay. Now what happened? Suppose if driver gear is connected one shaft and another shaft is connected through the driven gear. So obviously there must be some transmission of power from driving shaft to the gear, driver gear, then driver gear to driven gear, and at last the driven gear to the shaft 2. So this is why you see that power is transmitted from shaft 1 to the driver gear, then the driven gear, then the shaft 2. Okay, so these particular protocol, this particular path for transmission of power has to be necessarily analyzed. Okay, if any particular loss or any particular obstruction is there within that transmission cycle, so you have to identify that and you must have to omit that, so that it will not create any interruption while designing, and it may also create some cost impact. So what happen if there is any obstruction in the transmission of load? So that will of course create some error, and from that error the loss become high, the efficiency drops, and when the efficiency drops, the performance will become poor. Okay, so analysis of this force transmission or the power transmission is very important part. Next come to the material selection. So as I have told you, select the best material suited for each member of the machine. Okay, at 5, design of elements, that means the size and the stress. Find the size of each member of the machine by considering the force acting on the member and permissible stress of the material used. It should be kept in mind that each member should not deflect or deform than the permissible load. That means you have the permissible load, you have set the permissible load or the allowable load. Now this allowable load must not increase than the limiting load or the failure load. If that allowable load increases and further it becomes equal to the failure load, so what will happen? The material will break, material will fracture. So that is why allowable load always be very much less than the limiting load or the failure load. Okay, so these particular constituents, this particular constraint, we have to must think twice before designing. Next come to the modification, that is modify the size of the member to agree with the past experience and judgment to facilitate the manufacture. Like you are a very experienced designer, no? At the very when you are at the age and you have been employed as in a organization as a junior designer, or you are working, you have been you have got the employment as a junior designer, or you can say as a fresh designer, okay, GET, graduate engineer training. So obviously your experience is very less. Now at that period you have to learn, only learn. So whatever the design you are developing, you are designing something, so that thing must have to be got approved from your next higher authority, okay, so that the higher authority will impose you certain some of his knowledge, and when you get some knowledge from him, you can also develop your own idea, and your as soon as these certain properties will be implemented, your design will be much more strong, okay, you will become much more strong designer. So as you are going as a experienced engineer, okay, as your experience will become higher to highest, so this way when you are growing with a very higher amount of experience, so of course your experience can make you perfect. So what happened, your design, your prospecting design will be go on rising and rising, okay, the quality of design, the quality of your design will be go on increasing as your experience increases, okay. So of course you can then understand that whatever the important modifications are required in your preliminary drawing, that easily you can implement your experience as a knowledge to modify your own design, okay. Now detailed drawing, you see that draw the detailed drawing of each component and assemble of the machine with complete specification for the manufacturing process suggested. Like in the detailed drawing, as you know that detailed drawing, perhaps you may have seen any detailed drawing. In the detailed drawing there are certain rules are there. First rule is that BOM or BOQ, that is called the bill of quantity or bill of material, okay. So if you are designing any automotive part, and this automotive part is consists of several nuts and bolts and several other important components like that. So every component has certain quantities. Like in the detail engineering, we need 3 bolts, 4 nuts, okay, 5 chain blocks, or 5 any you can say that any French couplings. So every individual component has some quantities. So all those to be truly perfectly marked in your designing, so that a manufacturer will definitely understand how much are the quantity of those you can say that individual quantity of those components that certainly constitute the whole detail engineering. That is the most important thing, that detail engineering means all those particular things, the BOM, the BOQ, the material specifications, and the other parameters, like whatever the amount of stress will be generated, okay, the temperature will be generated, the pressure will be generated, all those particulars will be absolutely mentioned perfectly in your detailed drawing, okay. So once you have your own detailed drawing, so that detailed drawing will be enough for a manufacturer to easily manufacture that particular product based on your design. Now at the very last you see that production. So the component as per the drawing is now manufactured in the workshop. So once your detailed drawing is prepared and it is been approved, so it will be then sent to the shop floor or to the workshop, to the factory, so the manufacturing process can be easily started, okay. Next come to the standardization. So here you see that what is standardization. So standardization is basically defined as the obligatory or compulsory norm. Very important thing, compulsory norm. That means standardization. Anyone cannot follow his own aspect like randomly. So there must be some rules, okay. There must be some rules. Of course we have to be within that particular guideline. We cannot use our own random methodology, okay. Like a boiler designer or any turbine designer, so he has to follow some IS codes, some ASME codes. So these are the all over the codes and standards. Like we have our Indian standard, American standard, okay, British standard, German standard. So every country has its own standard. So of course we are Indians and we should generally follow the Indian standard code. So Indian standard code is basically the guideline or the standardization process that can guide you that for the designing of this particular component, These are your guidelines and you must have to follow the standardization process. Otherwise what happen, if you do not follow or if you violate the Indian standard rule, so your design will never get approved, and of course your and the manufacturing from based on your design will be absolutely void. Okay, this is not possible. So you have to follow any technical specification of the any standard or any code. Like if you follow the Indian standard code, so you have to design as per the Indian standard code. If you are designing the boiler, if you are designing the automobile engine chassis or engine or any chassis, whatever the part, so for every individual component there is certain Indian standard code. So you have to design accordingly as per the norms provided in the Indian standard code. Okay, so this is called the standardization. Standardization means it is basically the various characteristics of a product should comply or agree with these standards. Okay, the characteristics include key characteristics there, that means whatever the different characteristic there must be similarity, like material selection. When the stress amount, when the temperature goes at this certain range, so obviously for this particular criteria there is one material already specified in the IS code, and when the temperature goes on rising and it reaches 500 degrees centigrade and the pressure also rises up to this range, so obviously there is some material that is specified in the Indian standard code. So you have to select only those materials which have been provided in the Indian standard code as per the recommended code or standardization method. Okay, so of course here you see the material, the dimensions, the shape of the component. These are the important characteristics, like method of testing, method of marking, packing, storing. So all those things are absolutely come under a standard procedure. Okay, and you have to must obey in your design so that your design gets approved. If you do not follow those Indian standard code, American codes, or whatever the internationally accepted codes, so obviously your design will not be accepted and your whole effort will become void and null. There are two words, one is standard and code, so which are often used in the standard. So I have told you that two important terms are coming, that is standard or code. IS code, IS standard, like this. Okay, now what is standard? So basically a standard is defined as a set of specification of parts, a material or a process. The objective of standard is to reduce the variety and limit the number of items to be reasonable level. That means that is said that standard means this is the actually defines as a specification, a set of specification or set of guidelines to produce your parts. Okay, whatever the different guideline may be based on the materials, based on the process you have adopted. So ultimately at the end, our prime objective for standardization is to reduce the variety. Variety means, suppose what happened if you do not follow this IS code, what happened? So like a company X will manufacture, will produce its design in its own way. A company like Y will produce its design in its own way. Like a company Z will produce its design in its way. So every company will every company will follow his own procedure. Okay, so what will happen, the design variety will be, a large amount of variety will be coming in the market. So that variety we will not accept. We need very small varieties, we need very small competitive markets, but those markets will be absolutely prepared based on the following the guidelines of the standardizations. Okay, we are not allowing others to prepare his design as per his own process. So he is always advised, always recommended to follow the Indian standard code, American code, or any other internationally accepted code. So that is the important part of the standard. Okay, on the other hand, code is defined as the set of specification for the analyze, design and the manufacture, testing and erection of the product. So here you see there is a basic difference between the standard and code. So standard basically defines you the set of specification for parts, materials and process. But whatever the other part, like apart from material and process, there are some parameters like design analysis, like manufacture, like testing, like erection. So these important parts come under the code. So in the Indian standard code basically comes with the specifications for part, material, process, whereas Indian standard code, that is first one is the IS standard, second one is the IS code. So IS code basically defines you the set of specifications on the analysis part, the design part, the manufacturing part, the testing part. Testing means whether it can be accepted by quality wise. Okay, if it does not accept, it get failed in the quality checking, so of course it will be rejected. So that testing part, that erection part, okay, so all those things broadly come under the concept of code. Okay, but apart from those, if there are certain parameters like material selection, process selection, these come under the concept of standard. Okay, so this is the basic difference between the standard and code. Now the purpose of the code is to achieve a specified level of safety. So code basically used to give you the safety, okay, and standard will give you the basically guide you for the selection of the material and process, whereas the code, you see, the code will actually tell you the safety, the code will actually guarantee you the safety of that component. Okay, next. So here you see there are three types of standard used in design office. They are like company standard. They are used in particular company or a group of sister concerns. Like a company, a big giant company like Tata, okay, Tata Sons, like Reliance. So every particular company has some code of conduct, okay, like this. So whatever the protocols provided by the Tata, that may not be same as the Reliance. So every certain quantity has his own method of standardization. So that is called the company standard. Next is the national standard. National standard means if suppose the methodology adopted in the India, okay, so that may not be same as the methodology adopted in the America. Okay, so every nation, every country has its own method of standardization. Okay, so that is called the national standard. Like here you see India. India is BIS. BIS, you know, Bureau of Indian Standards. Okay. Next is the Germany. Germany is the DIN. DIN is the Deutsches Institute for Norma. Okay. Then USA. USA, there is two types of standards are there: AISI and SAE. AISI means American Iron and Steel Institute. SAE means Society of Automotive Engineers. Okay. Now UK. UK is BS. BS means British Standard. So these are all the national standards. Also there are certain other standards like Japanese standard, Chinese standard. Okay, so every company follow his own method of standardization. Next come to the international standard. International standard means if you prepared your drawing based as per the Indian standard, ISO, as per the International Organization for Standardization, if you follow their own methodology, so what will happen? Your drawing will be accepted globally. That means ISO. ISO organization means it gives you the protocol that is adopted by the International Organization for Standardization. Okay, so ISO, if you prepare your drawing based on ISO, so obviously your drawing will be accepted globally. Okay, now if you prepare your drawing as per the Indian standard, so your drawing may be accepted only within the India. Okay, now if you prepare your drawing as per the Tata methodologies, Tata code of conduct, so that doesn't mean that your procedure will be adopted in the whole country. So there are certain standardization followed by the company. Then when you go beyond the company, there will be national level protocols, national level standardization. When you go beyond the national level or the nation, so you can find there is a globe wise or the internationally accepted some standards. Okay, so that is called the ISO. ISO full form is International Organization for Standardization. Okay, it is also called as the International Standard Organization, but mostly it is called International Organization for Standardization. Okay, now there are certain benefits of standardization. What are those benefits? Like first, it reduces its type and dimensional identical components. So inventory control, that is very important part. Inventory control. Inventory, if you control your inventory, so of course your production cost will be very less, and once the inventory becomes less, so ultimately the sale of this product, the selling cost of the product will also become less. Next come to the reduction in manufacturing facilities. Next come to the easy to replace. Next is the no need to design or test the elements. Then improves the quality and reliability. Then improves reputation of the company which manufactures the standard components. Then sometimes it ensures the safety. Then it results in overall cost reduction. So these are all about the several benefits of the standardization. Okay. Next part is the preferred number. Okay, that is very important part. Preferred number. Preferred number মানে কি জিনিসটা হচ্ছে that is called like you are designing a SAP. Now which SAP dia you will select, so there is some standardization. Not that every size of every individual size of SAP is available in the market. That is not possible to manufacture all those different sizes. Like if you have manufactured that is standard size is 10 millimeter, so it is not possible to manufacture 11 or to get the 11 millimeter dia size SAP. Okay, then it is not possible to get the 12 millimeter size of SAP. So there are certain standards. Okay, there are certain standards in size also, that these particular sizes are available only in the market. Okay, so which type of size, which are the important types of size, in terms of size means in terms of diameter, maybe in terms of length, maybe in terms of the power transmission, like engine capacity is generally denoted by the HP, so that 5 HP engine or 6 horsepower engine or 8 horsepower engine, but not that within 6 or 8 7 horsepower engine or may be available, but this is not mandatory that within that particular range all those particular engine types may be available. So there are certain standards, certain sizes that are available in the market. Like in that size I have told you, the size can be available in terms of the horsepower, that means the power transmission, in terms of the RPM, in terms of the length, in terms of the diameter or width. Okay, so for example here you see, if a SAP diameter to be selected standardized between 10 millimeter to 25 millimeter, then the sizes should be 10 millimeter, 12.5 millimeter, 16 millimeter, 20 millimeter, 25 millimeter, not like 10, 11, 13, 18, 25 like this. Okay, so that means within 10 to 25 millimeter SAP diameter range, the only available products are 10 millimeter, 12.5, 16, 20, 25. Okay, now within that 20, 25, 22, 23, these particular random sizes may not be available. Okay, so how you can decide what are the important sizes that are available in the market? So there is obviously some standardization, some guidelines. Okay, so these led to the use of geometric series known as the preferred number or preferred series. Okay, so we generally follow here the method of geometric progression. Okay, geometric progression, how is that? Like this: preferred series are series of numbers obtained by the geometric progression and rounded off. Now after geometric progression, certainly you have got the data in fractional number like 12.985, so obviously it will be written as 13, so it will be converted in the, it will be rounded off. Okay, like basic there are 5 basic series with the step ratio. What is that? Here you see 10 to the power 1 by 5, 10 to the power 1 by 10, 10 to the power 1 by 20, like this, 5, 10, 20. So here the you can say the the common division part is 2, 5, 10, 20, 40, 80. Okay, so here you see 10 to the power 1, 5, 5, 10 to the power 1 by 10. These are all called the you can say steppings. What is stepping? That you have to know. Suppose you the most available SAP dia is available like 5 millimeter. So that you know 5 millimeter is available in the market. Now how you will come to know that after 5 millimeter what about the next higher size diameter? So that depends, like 5 into 10 to the power 1 by 5. Okay, then you have got some value. So this is the second size. Now from this, when you get the next higher size, so it will be 5 into 10 to the power 5 into 10 to the power 5. Okay, this is just simple like geometric progression. Okay, so this is called the stepping ratio. So that means at every step, so this particular 10 to the power 1 by 5 will be multiplied. Now if the stepping ratio is provided like 10 to the power 1 by 10, so what will happen? So first digit, so second digit will be first digit into the 10 to the power 1 by 10, and third digit will be what that? So it will become second digit into 10 to the power 1 by 10, and what about the fourth digit? So fourth digit will be third digit into 10 to the power 1 by 10, like this. This is called the geometric progression, and as per this geometric progression, the particular method is followed, that is you have already got, that is called the preferred number. So preferred number is absolutely based on the concept of geometric progression. Okay, so based on this concept we can easily say that any particular size can be prepared as per the standard guideline. So standard guideline means it may be either prepared with the step ratio 10 to the power 1 by 5, 10 to the power 1 by 10, 10 to the power 1 by 20, like this. So these ratios are approximately equal to, if you go on the calculator, use the calculator, you can find that 10 to the power 1 by 5 means 1.58, 10 to the power 1 by 10 means 1.26. So these are the step ratios. If first term is 5, first shaft diameter, so initial shaft diameter is the 5 that is available in the market. So in the next shaft size should be 5 into 1.58, okay, and whatever the next shaft size, so it will be 5 into 1.58 into 1.58, okay. This way, using the concept of geometric progression, the shaft size will be available in the market, okay. The basic series of the preferred number are designated as R5. So this is called 5. 10 to the power 1 by 5 means R5. 10 to the power 1 by 10 means R10. 10 to the power 1 by 20 means R20. So these were up to R80. Okay. So this series is prepared based on the concept of geometric progression. So all of you please go through those parts that are very easy. Okay. Now based on this concept, how we can get the idea about the standardization process for the preferred numbers, like find out the numbers of the R5 basic series from 1 to 10. Okay, so basic series from 1 to 10, so we have to find out the standard shapes that are available, or standard sizes that are available within the dimensions of within 1 to 10, and we have to follow R5. R5 means 10 to the power you can say that is 10 to the power 1 by 5. Okay, so like this you can say the first number is 1, so obviously second number hobe that will be 1 into 10 to the power 1 by 5. So 10 to the power 1 by 5 1.5849, so multiply that with 1. Okay, so that means the first number. So we, after rounding off, we got 1.6. So next number, so next size will be 1.6. Next third size will be second size into the stepping ratio, that is 10 to the power 1 by 5. So that is third number is equal to the 1.5849, that means the first number into the, you can say, the stepping mark, the stepping ratio. So this way when you get the third number form, you can get the fourth number. So fourth number will be equal to third number into the stepping ratio. Okay, fifth number will be the fourth number into stepping ratio. Sixth number will be the fifth number into stepping ratio. Seventh number will be the sixth number into stepping ratio. This way when you got the ultimately 10, you have reached that at the sixth number the value comes tens. Okay, so within 1 to 10 the desired sizes are like 1, 1.6, okay, 2.5, 4. So these are all about the standard sizes that may be available in the market. Okay, so these are all about my today's lecture. So next I shall discuss on the design considerations part. Okay.